Hey friends, welcome to eSports, your go-to for all things football. From wild transfer rumors to behind-the-scenes drama, we've got it all covered. Now let's jump into the news. And today, we're talking about one of the most electrifying players the game has ever seen, Diego Maradona. Not just a footballer, but a force of nature. Before Messi became the pride of Argentina, there was Diego. He didn't just play the game, he owned it. When Maradona touched the ball, the world held its breath. Short, stocky, left-footed, but unstoppable. In 1986, he delivered one of the greatest World Cup performances ever. He carried Argentina to glory, beating England with the most controversial goal in football history. And then, minutes later, scoring the greatest goal of all time, 60 yards, 5 defenders, 1 keeper, all left behind. That wasn't just football. That was Maradona's genius. Let's talk numbers and legacy. 345 club goals. 91 games for Argentina, 30 for goals. World Cup winner, 1986, runner-up 1990. Ballon d'Or, awarded the honorary Ballon d'Or in 1995, voted FIFA's Player of the Century alongside Pele. He played with passion, with chaos, with beauty. Maradona didn't follow rules, he rewrote them. From Napoli to Buenos Aires, he was more than a player, he was a symbol. In Naples, he turned a struggling team into Serie A champions. Twice, to the people of southern Italy, Diego wasn't a foreigner, he was a savior. Statues, murals, stadiums, songs, they all still carry his name, but genius comes with a cost. Off the pitch, Maradona battled addiction, controversies, pressure. He was human, painfully so, flawed, vulnerable, chaotic, but that made people love him even more. Because he wasn't perfect, he was real. On November 25, 2020, the world stopped once again. Diego Maradona passed away aged 60 after a heart attack. Fans wept in the streets, Naples lit up with candles. Argentina declared 3 days of national mourning. Football lost a god, the world lost a soul who lived to fast and burn to bright. But Diego never really left us. He lives on, in every street kid with a worn-out ball, in every wild dribble that defies logic, in every player who plays with heart before rules. Maradona gave us joy, he gave us magic, and he gave us himself, and that gift, it'll never fade. So now we ask you, what's your Maradona moment? That 86 wonder goal, his Napoli days, the fire in his eyes. Tell us in the comments, we want to hear your story. And today, we're going back to the beginning, before the trophies, before the glory, before the world knew the name Zinedine Zidane. We're telling the story of a boy, with no money, no spotlight, just one broken pair of shoes, and a dream bigger than the streets he walked on. Zinedine Zidane was born in 1972, in La Castellana, a rough, working-class neighborhood on the edge of Marseille, France. His parents were Algerian immigrants. They had 5 children. No luxuries, no vacations, just survival. Zidane grew up surrounded by poverty, crime, and tension. But he also grew up with something else, football. There was a small concrete square between the apartment blocks, no grass, no goals, no refs, just chaos. But to young Zizou, it was everything. That was his pitch, his escape, his school. There's a story his first coach used to tell, one that defines the soul of Zidane. One day, Zinedine showed up to training with shoes so worn out, they barely held together. The sole was flapping, the fabric torn, his socks visible. His coach, Jean Varad, looked at him and said, "Zinedine, why don't you throw those away?" Zidane looked him dead in the eye and said, "Because I still have dreams to chase." That answer stuck. It wasn't just about football, it was about fire, it was about belief. Coach Varad didn't say anything, he simply went out the next day and bought Zidane a new pair of boots. They weren't flashy, but they were clean, whole, and full of silent promise, and Zinedine, he never forgot. From there, the rise was relentless. At 14, he joined Cannes. At 17, he made his professional debut. By 24, he was the most elegant midfielder in Europe. But Zidane never forgot those streets or those shoes. In 1998, He gave France its first ever World Cup, scoring twice in the final against Brazil. In 2000, he won the Euros. In 2002, he scored that volley for Real Madrid, one of the greatest goals in Champions League history. Then, as a coach, he delivered an impossible feat: 3 consecutive UCL titles with Real Madrid. But through it all, the headlines, the Ballon d'Or, the fame, he stayed grounded. Because he knew where he came from, and what it cost to rise above it. Let's talk numbers and legacy. 125 career goals as a midfielder, 108 caps for France. World Cup winner 1998, Euro winner 2000, Champions League winner 2002. Ballon d'Or 1998, FIFA World Player of the Year 3x. UCL winning coach, 3 years in a row. But Zidane's true greatness, it wasn't just in the goals he scored. It was in the silence, the class, the calm storm behind his eyes. He didn't scream, he didn't dance. He just moved, like poetry in motion. Today, Zidane is retired from coaching. But he remains a symbol of elegance, of strength, of humble greatness. From the streets of Marseille to the lights of the Bernabeu. From torn shoes to golden boots. Zidane's journey isn't just a football story, it's a human story. So now we ask you, what's your Zidane moment? That volley, that headbutt, that look of calm before the storm. Tell us in the comments, we want to hear your story. Today, we're talking about Ronaldo Nazário, the phenomenon. A name that brings back thunderous goals, explosive speed, and a smile that defined an era. Ronaldo didn't just score goals, he destroyed defenders, broke records, and redefined what it meant to be a striker. From lightning-fast runs past entire backlines, to those deadly steepovers and goals that left the world speechless. R9 wasn't just great, he was different. In the late 90s and early 2000s, he was untouchable. World Cup winner in 1994 as a teenager, Golden Ball winner in 1998, Ballon d'Or in 1997 and 2002, top scorer in the 2002 World Cup, after 2 career-threatening injuries. He played for Barcelona, Inter Milan, Real Madrid, and AC Milan, and shined everywhere. Ask any legend, Messi, Mbappe, Haaland, who inspired them. The answer, Ronaldo. Even defenders say it, R9 was the striker we all feared, but like many greats. The rise was followed by a painful fall. Knee injuries hit him hard. In 1999, he tore a tendon. Then in 2000, he tore it again. The whole world held its breath. Doctors said he might never play again. But he came back, stronger, and in 2002, he carried Brazil to the World Cup title. Scored twice in the final, Golden Boot, King. It was the comeback of the century. But after that, the fire slowly faded. He had spells at Real Madrid and Milan, but his body wasn't the same. By 2011, after a short run in Brazil, he retired. He was just 34, no fairytale ending. No grand farewell, just a legend walking away. Because his knees had given up, not his talent. And off the pitch, challenges continued, weight struggles, financial controversies, media pressure. But through it all, R9 stayed R9, humble, honest, and human. What makes Ronaldo special isn't just the goals. It's what he overcame. Few players have faced what he did, and still came back to win the World Cup. He was the original what-if player. What if he had stayed fit? What if we got 10 full years of R9, but maybe? The tragedy is what made the magic so unforgettable. Today, Ronaldo has found peace. He's now a businessman. Owns Real Valladolid, lives in Spain and Cruzeiro, in Brazil. Stays involved with football, appears at major events, shares wisdom. He mentors the next generation, and he laughs, just like before, because he knows, he gave the world everything he had. And more, he might not have lasted as long as Messi or CR7. But for those who saw him at his best, there's no debate, R9 was the phenomenon. He showed us how far talent can take you, and how much heart it takes to come back. Now it's your turn. What's your favorite Ronaldo moment? The hat-trick at Old Trafford, that goal versus Compostela, or the 2002 final versus Germany? Drop it in the comments, we read every single one. Welcome to eSports, where football legends live on. Today, we're talking about Ronaldinho, a name that doesn't just remind us of football. It reminds us of joy, magic, and a pure love for the game. Ronaldinho didn't just play football, he danced with the ball. He confused defenders, made fans smile, and turned matches into carnivals. From no-look passes and insane dribbles to that cheeky smile before a free kick. And that unforgettable goal versus England in the 2002 World Cup. He made us fall in love with football all over again. But where is he now? What really happened to Ronaldinho, the happiest man in football? Let's rewind. In the early 2000s, he was on top of the football world. World Cup winner in 2002. At just 22, Ballon d'Or winner in 2005. The man who revived Barcelona. Messi's first football idol and mentor. Even rival fans respected him. Because he played with freedom, with soul, with joy. But that fire didn't last forever. The decline came fast. By 2010, his level dropped. Partying, poor fitness, lack of motivation, it all caught up. He left Milan, bounced around clubs in Brazil, Mexico. And in 2015, he quietly retired. No farewell match, no big send-off, just a silence. And then things got worse. In 2020, the world was shocked. Ronaldinho was arrested in Paraguay for using a fake passport. Yes, the same Ronaldinho. In jail, he spent over a month behind bars. Played football in slippers, took selfies, still smiled. It was strange, but behind the smile, there was pain. Tax issues back in Brazil, rumors of bankruptcy. Reports saying his bank account had almost no money left. The man who once lit up the Camp Nou was now lost in the dark. But here's the thing, one part of Ronaldinho never died. His spark. Even in prison, he smiled. Even in tough times, he was like a kid with a ball. Because he never played for money, he played for the love of the game. He was the last true street footballer, and he never changed. These days, he's rebuilding his life. He appears at FIFA events, plays in Legends matches, travels the world as a football ambassador. He mentors young Brazilians, supports futsal in poor areas, and reminds us what football is really about: fun. Last year, he said in an interview, "Greater than yeah, I made mistakes. I lived fast, but I don't regret it. I lived with joy." That's Ronaldinho in one sentence. He might never become a coach. He might not make a football comeback like Zidane or Ronaldo, but he doesn't need to. Because he already gave football something no one else ever did. Joy, magic, freedom. He reminded us why we fell in love with the game. Now it's your turn. What's your favorite Ronaldinho moment? That no-look pass, that goal versus Chelsea? Or the day Real Madrid fans gave him a standing ovation at the Bernabeu? Drop it in the comments, we read everyone. Today, we're talking about a name that started it all, Pele. Not just a footballer, but the first global icon of the sport. Before Messi, before Ronaldo, before Maradona, there was Pele. He didn't just play football. He defined it. From the moment he stepped onto the pitch, it was different. At just 17, he lit up the 1958 World Cup, scored a hat-trick in the semi-final, 2 goals in the final, and helped Brazil lift their first ever World Cup. The world had never seen anything like it. Fast forward for years, injured in '62, but in 1970, he returned like a king. Led the greatest team of all time to glory, Brazil's 3rd World Cup, and became the only man in history to win it 3 times. Pele's stats: out of this world, 1,281 career goals. Yes, seriously. 3 World Cups, scored for Brazil 77 times, a record only recently matched by Neymar. Named Athlete of the Century by the IOC, honored by the UN for global peace efforts. He played with joy, with grace, with purpose. He wasn't just a player. He was football's first superstar. After retirement in 1977, Pele didn't fade away. He became a global ambassador for football, spoke at the UN, promoted peace. Even helped launch soccer in the US with New York Cosmos. He wasn't just loved in Brazil, he was celebrated everywhere. Kids in Africa, Asia, Europe, America. They all knew Pele. He was hope. He was pride. He was proof that greatness could come from anywhere. But even legends aren't forever. In his later years, Pele battled illness. Multiple surgeries, public appearances became rare. And in December 2022, the world stood still. Pele passed away at age 82 after a long fight with colon cancer. Presidents, players, pop stars, fans. Everyone paid tribute. Stadiums went silent, shirts were raised. And a whole sport mourned its king. But Pele's story didn't end there. He left behind a legacy bigger than football. He was the spark that lit the fire. The inspiration behind every kid with a dream and a ball. When Neymar equaled his Brazil goal record, his message was simple. Before Pele, football was just a sport. He made it art, and he was right. Pele might not be with us anymore. But his magic lives on, in every goal, in every celebration. In every young star who dares to dream, because before there were stars, there was Pele. And there will never be another like him. Now it's your turn. What's your favorite Pele memory? The 1970 World Cup, his smile after a goal. Or the way defenders just couldn't touch him? Let us know in the comments, we read everyone. And if you felt this story, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to eSports for more stories that remind us why we love this game.